Good afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon. I'm the lone person standing between you and lunch. So we'll try to keep it as interesting as possible for our community, the finance community. The topic that we have is generative AI. I mean, this is something that we all wanted to hear, right? 1095 days ago, I would have talked, what is Gen AI? That's 3 years. 720 days ago, I would have told, what are the use cases of AI? That's 2 years ago. 365 days ago, I would have spoken about what are the front runner scenarios for Gen AI. That's a year ago. And now we are talking about scenarios which are already baked in the product, capabilities which are already delivered for our finance functions to use. Yeah, that's the change Gen AI has brought in. Yeah, we're not talking about years and years of topic. We're talking about days where functions have molded, functions have changed and brought forward. Yeah, and who am I? Srivatsan. I call myself a techno-humanist, a guy who leverages technology for the fundamental benefits of humanity. Yeah, anything and everything that brings impact to humanism, I try to be that. I've been in this space for about 22 years overall. I also run the Concur Spend Engineering, so I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a product engineering guy. And of course, I'm also a cost accountant by function. So yeah, I've been implemented a lot of finance functions. So a guy who knows the herd's pain, if I have to put it this way. Good. So one of the things that came in, I mean, when I was talking to one of the boardroom meeting guy, right? I mean, the guy brought in a magic ball, and I was asking him, this guy bring an 8-ball magic pen to the meeting, and he said he wanted to do crystal gazing. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here, right? I mean, the whole day we're trying to do crystal gazing. And the intent of me is to also to share some lights on what exactly are the pains of our CFO community or the finance leaders community and how AI is going to help you get there. And of course, the Gen AI stuff as well. A pretty recent survey organized for finance leaders in the CFO community said that majority of the people, right? I mean, nearly 90% of the people agreed that our biggest pain point where I'm battling is uncertainty, right? Uncertainty is the way where I'm looking at it. I need interventions, I need capabilities of how do I handle uncertainty. And that's our problem, right? I mean, our community problem is I like the Hoshi's example of CFOs being the speed breaker against an accelerator of a CEO to say that how do I get that intervention going? And that's exactly what you're doing. I mean, uncertainties are everywhere, right? And when I have to ask you guys, right, I mean, our community people, what do you do to invest in it? I mean, unless and until you invest in it, you can't get over uncertainty, right? What do you do in it? What are your 3 major interventions for uncertainty? Maybe I'll try to ask you people who are here. What do you do? Someone who wants to take a shot at it, or what do you do for your organization?
Prepare some model or to prepare some Excel sheet.
Excel sheet. Model. So use it for monitoring.
We try to do a financial modeling.
Financial modeling, right? I mean, modeling is for monitoring purpose. What else do you do apart from monitoring? Of course, you can monitor. What else can you do? Trend analysis, which is basically insights into what's happening, and also try to do what is called as hypothesis, right? I mean, can I put a hypothesis forward to say that, can I validate this hypothesis with data points to move forward? Fair enough. What else? Who's your best companion here? Who can be your best companion here? Or do you really have companions here? Data scientist. Yes, I'm a data scientist, but unfortunately, right, we are a lone rangers here, right? I mean, unfortunate state, right? I mean, everybody will come and give advice to you, but most of it, right, we finance people are lone rangers here when we hits our uncertainty, and all the organizations will ask you for help to say that you tell us the advice, what should we do, right? And when we looked at our 220 odd people from a surveying perspective and asked them, what do you do? They said we do 3 things. One is monitoring, as exactly what you said. Look at interventions of how do you monitor the situation. The other segment of 40% said that we invest in innovation, right? I mean, we invest in innovation. Innovation could be anything that enables us, like you spend money to earn money, right? You invest in that to say that how do I get ahead of the curve, right? I mean, those are the kind of innovations, process innovations and technology innovations. I heard the panelist here also speak about it, right? We'll also speak about it. And insights. We're going to see a great capability that's coming into spend management for the CFOs, right? How many times have we CFOs or finance modules have asked for a report and the report comes in 5 days later or 6 days later? Or it says that, oops, my IT team has to develop a report and then it has to come to me. Or the report that exists in my IT team, I need to add another dimension to it. Even though it's a BW reporting, I can't do it. Natural language-based querying never existed for our community. And that's gone. That's the reality we're going to see. And it's already there. We ask the questions, the system data is going to tell us the answers to it. And that's one way of innovation. Right? That's another intervention. The third intervention that people spoke about is automation. Right? We invest in automation, right? We want to get ourselves operationally better, right? That will ensure that when we have these uncertainties, I know that I don't need to worry about my regular chore of work, but I really want to concentrate on what can I do for that, right? And that's where most of the CFOs gave us this feedback. Dwelling deep into it, right? We've asked the question, is AI going to help you here? Right? You know that we spoke about monitoring, we spoke about innovation, we spoke about automation. How is AI going to be a companion here? Or is it your free enemy, right? I mean, a friend enemy, as we call it, right? Majority, 61% said, yes, AI is going to be an enabler here, right? That's a clear statement to say that, yes, I look at AI as a companion here, but as a frenemy. I do have a lot of pitfalls. What am I going to do? Is Gen AI a gas? Is it just going to be burst away? Unfortunately, if you ask me as a data scientist and a techno guy, I'll tell you Gen AI is a reality. It is a reality. What existed earlier days, if you look at it, right? I mean, let me just come to it a little point. Whatever existed in earlier days, I call it as narrow AI. Yeah, whatever AI that existed till date before Gen AI came in was narrow AI. Meaning, just think about it, right? I mean, I need to build a model. A model requires data. I need to train the model, deploy the model, and by the time I'm done, it's 6 months over. And by the time the AI model looks at something which is not even existing, you need to say, the guy will come and say, the IT team will come and say, oops, this model is not trained for this kind of capability. Let's take it back to our data lab, retrain it, and go forward. It's a narrow way of doing it, right? And that's exactly the old age model where BW is also suffering, right? You ask for a report, you don't get the report that you want. You get the report what IT team can give you, and you still go back and put it in an Excel and figure out what do you want for you. That's a reality, right? Agree? That's narrow AI for you. That is narrow AI. What are we going in, where are we dwelling in with Gen AI is what I call as citizen-centric AI, right? Gen AI is the way for citizen-centric AI. As a citizen, for you to use ChatGPT, do you need any training? Do you need any training? I'm sure everyone here would have used ChatGPT, right? In some way or the other, right? Nobody trains you for using ChatGPT, right? It's a citizen AI. It works on natural language. You don't need to understand the technology behind that. All you need to know is how to use it. All you need to know is ask the right question. Exactly, right? As CFOs and finance functions, we also need to ask the right questions, and the system should be able to tell us, why should we be constrained by the narrow AI of the past? Gen AI is that enabler that's going to make it citizen-centric AI for you. Yeah? And from a technology perspective, we're already there, right? It's not a fad. It is certainly not a fad, right? And this is going to stay. And in fact, the transformation that we're going to happen is even more huge the coming days, right? I also call this democratizing AI, right? We are already in that phase of democratizing AI, right? A classic function, we spoke about payment solutions, we spoke about sustainability, we spoke about all these things, right? Insights and all these things. Now, for all these things to happen, why can't the system tell me what needs to be done rather than me trying to go and build something for that? And that's what I call as democratizing AI. You don't need AI developers. You don't need data scientists in your organization. It's like another skill set, right? Our colleagues in the panel spoke about upskilling ourselves, narrow AI was about the olden day boy in the school which had a very limited learning. Gen AI is a fast learner. The guy is going to learn faster than what you think. It's up to you as finance leads. Do you want to make him your companion or you look at him as an enemy? If you look at him as an enemy, your role and function will be irrelevant. If you look at it as a companion, you're becoming more relevant for enabling you to solve the uncertainty, right? And that's exactly what we're coming to, right? You have uncertainties to solve, great. Let's use Gen AI as a companion to solve those uncertainties and not fight against that, right? That's where we have reached from a democratizing AI perspective, right? And we will show you demos. I mean, I'm not going to talk about all these slides and other things. We have enough demos, workable product solutions to give you a sense of what can you do as a CFO function and also into spend management module, right? And that's the reality, and it's delivered and it's working. People use it. And when we went back to our CFOs who asked these questions, they said, wow, this is exactly what I want, right? Now I can think about being a lone ranger solving uncertainty rather than doing number crunching for me, right? This is also starting the next step of work called as humanizing AI, right? It's going to be more human-centric, right? Gen AI is going to ensure that we go into a stage where AI is going to say, apart from the feelings and other emotions built into it, Gen AI is going to prompt you for what the right insights are, the right actions that you need to perform, and if you perform an action, what is going to be the outcome of that? Not an output, right? Output is 100% possible, outcome has a probability attached. So Gen AI is going to give you into that prompting capability to say that if I give you an outcome, what's the percentage of outcome and what's the probability of that to happen, right? I really want to take about 3 instances where these things are happening. One, green ledger is a reality. As finance modules, functions, we spoke about sustainability and other thing. SAP is building the green ledger. We all know about our GL accounts, but we also know about your leading ledger, non-leading ledger, and other stuff. The green ledger is a reality. It's going to come, and it's already there. And the more we are equipped to get into green ledger, the better we are, right? That's, for me, is what I call as citizen AI. Nobody is worried about the P&L statement of my GL account, which GL account I'm posting to, and reconciling, right? It's moving towards sustainable green ledger. That's one example where Gen AI is going to help you to move towards the green ledger capability, right? It is there. It's not a fad. The second example is in the payment space. We all spoke about how UPI payments can flow into your system, right? Sumedha also spoke about it. Ashwini Narang also gave an insight into it. That's a reality pretty soon where, as finance functions, we'll be able to reconcile things easily because your spend management is now so much intelligent that we know that when it goes as a UPI payment, I can reconcile on my own to figure out what do I need to knock it against. I don't need a recon account to be set up to do it, right? I don't need a suspense account to do it. I don't need a escrow account to do it. The system can do it for you, right? The system has self-healing capabilities built in, right? That self-healing capabilities functions is what is going to fundamentally redefine our payment space completely, right? The touch point can be UPI, the touch point can be a cash transaction, whatever be that. But that self-healing capability is what Gen AI is going to bring in. It's already brought into our system. Yeah, and that's also something that maybe we'll try to show a quick view of it. There was also another example where I think we also spoke about policy considerations, right? Most of our time goes off in figuring out where does a policy violation happen, right? And now, what if there is a scenario where the guy who is trying to be in Mumbai can ask a question to the system, hey, what's my travel allowance here? Am I eligible to take a lunch with a cocktail in it or not to a system? And the system tells you, hey buddy, you are in Mumbai. This is your company policy. You're not allowed to take a cocktail immediately. You stop it then and there. You ask the question and the system will tell you what's your policy. And that's already there. You're going to see that in action pretty soon. And that for me is humanizing AI, right? Humans, oops moment are possible. Now, how do you reduce that oops moment is for me humanizing the AI part, right? And none of these are a fad, and these are things which we are going to see that in action pretty soon, right? As we see, the areas where generative AI has played a huge role is in insights. It's going to give you a lot of insights. You can question the system, you're going to get an answer to it. Just like Google, right? I mean, you just ask a question. Nobody needs a training to use Google search, right? GenAI is there in that prompt engineering. And prompt engineering is not new. In fact, prompt engineering came in the 1970s when Linux had a prompt, right? The name prompt engineering comes from that prompt. 1970s, when the Ubuntu Linux came in, it had a prompt. You used to type a command in that prompt, right? The good olden days. And prompt engineering is same that. I mean, it's just that we have got to the LLM models of the world. That's all.